I'm hungry! What's up there to eat?
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and 5-year-old Jordan hasn't had anything to eat.
Why don't we go to there's nothing to eat up there?
All right, I'll get you something.
Jordan is one of the 7 kids that 60-year-old Pauline Boyd of the Bronx takes care of.
All right, listen, y'all gonna take your picture taken. Get up and stand over there on the wall.
Hey, bothers us.
Okay, stand
They
on
said
the
we
wall.
gonna take breakfast.
This is Jordan. This is Isaiah. This is Faith. This is Justine. This is Sean. And this is Javon.
So there are 7 of you here,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to take care of all of them.
I have to take care of all of them.
And do you always have food to give them?
Not always. Sometimes we don't have breakfast in the morning. I try to buy a lot of bag beans because the bag beans stretch more than the canned beans. And so we'll just eat beans. And we drink water, and that's it.
Like Pauline and her family, other 2 million people in New York City wake up every morning unsure if they will have a meal.
Excuse me, sir, can you buy me a sandwich? If you don't mind.
And like Pauline, other 700,000 are eligible to get food stamps, but are not getting them. So in 1995 you applied for food stamps?
Mm-hmm. I applied then, and they wouldn't give me the food stamps because they said I had no birth certificates.
Her children's birth certificates were ruined after a pipe exploded, flooding her apartment. Without them, Pauline could never get the food stamps. So you tried to explain to them, listen, I have no birth certificate, what can I do? And what did they say?
They said, well, when you receive the birth certificates, to come back and reapply again.
There's no way you can...
There's no other way to get them. I don't have no money to go down to buy the original ones.
How much are they?
$15. And $15 to me is a lot of money because I don't have money like that.
And why are so many New Yorkers being forced to get handouts from soup kitchens and food pantries instead of getting food stamps?
Most people agree that in New York City, the bureaucratic obstacles to food stamps are much higher than they are elsewhere.
J.C. Dwyer is the director of the New York Coalition Against Hunger, an umbrella group for food pantries and soup kitchens in the city.
A lot of these obstacles were put in place during the Giuliani administration and are essentially bureaucratic in nature. So if you want to apply for food stamps, you have to wait in an office for 5 hours on a weekday, missing work, so that you can wait in line and get all your papers signed. It's a very complex federal benefit.
Funded by the federal government, the food stamp program was created in 1964 to enable low-income households to get nutritious food. Last year, the program served more than 25 million people in the country. But in New York City, only half of the eligible to get the food stamps are actually getting them. Why?
Because it's really hard to get food stamps. That is the short answer. You have to document rent and utilities, and if you pay for childcare, and if you have medical expenses, and who lives in your household, birth certificates, social security cards.
There aren't enough workers in the center to really handle all of the people that are coming through the system. And, you know, you're going to make mistakes.
4-year-old Levi Kornick knows well what she's talking about. He was mistakenly denied food stamps.
I took all the documents that they asked for, but they had rejected me. They refused me because they said they thought I had another bank account. I'm trying to explain this to the lady, like, miss, this bank don't even exist no more, you know? And she's like, well, you need to prove this to us and this and that. So that's when I came home. I was aggravated because now I don't know how I'm gonna get something that don't exist.
Disabled and with a newborn to look after, this is how he described his first visit to a food stamp office.
It was very hectic. Yeah. They treat you like trash. They take your manhood away from you like, wow, you know? But the system is designed to make us refuse and don't want to deal with it anymore, you know?
Food stamps could add substantially to Levi's finances. In some cases, receiving the benefit means an increase of up to 20% in the income.
It frees up money for them, for people to be able to pay the rent or to buy children uniforms or whatever the case may be. So it can make a huge impact, especially with people who have families.
If I have food stamps, I'll go shopping. At that big Pathmark across the street, me and my wife would grab our shopping cart and we'd be out of here. And we'd be happy.
Happy is how Rolando and his 2 daughters feel every month when he gets $300 in food stamps.
It's just a pain to get your food stamps, but once you get them and you get what you're allowed to get, you go shopping, they don't tax you for your food. You get a lot of food when you buy, when you buy with your food stamps, you can get a lot of extra food.
But getting the stamps wasn't an easy process.
You wait for a long while. You go to a welfare center for food stamps or something, you're gonna be there all day, practically all day. See, there's times I've been in there and I have to leave before 2 o'clock because I have to pick up my children from school. So then they'll close my case and I gotta go through the whole process again.
Another common challenge in increasing access to food stamps in the city is lack of information, especially among the immigrants.
I'd say about 30%, only out of large population, about 30% know that they can apply for benefits through their children. And the other 70, again, they're misinformed and they lose out on opportunities.
The low enrollment rate costs New York a small fortune in federal aid. The state is leaving nearly $1 billion in Washington and not doing nearly enough to help hungry families put food on their table.
This is literally millions and millions of federal money that could be in our economy, spurring food purchases, making bodegas grow, and more people being hired. That's not being taken. The USDA has also found that for every food stamp dollar that's spent, it generates about $1.82 in economic activity.
All right, we're here. We have an empty refrigerator. We have butter. We have a pot of what we had last night, which was some rice with chopped meat.
When did you shop last time?
The first of the month. The first of the month. They see today they have sales and we don't have no money.
So if today was the first of the month, what would you get?
Oh, what would I would get? I would get 5 $2 Jiffy corn muffin mix, and I would get some pudding. I would get the TV dinners 3 for $5.
Hunger is on the rise in the city. One indicator is the increased reliance on the more than 1,300 food pantries and soup kitchens among city residents. About 1 million New Yorkers depend on pantries.
The day that they close down those pantries, then that's the day everybody's going to have a problem.
Without pantries like this, it would be an ugly picture, really. I mean, the number of people who actually rely on the service is intense.
Daniel Reyes is the director of the Yorkville Common Pantry, the only in the city where people can get food at any time.
There would be no need for food pantries if food stamps worked properly, so most families would be able to support themselves using the food stamps program.
Remember, if you don't have a kid on this card that you give me, if your kid is not registered on that card, they're not going to give an Easter basket. Please do not ask, for these people are not going to make no deals on it.
Every Thursday, hundreds of people line up outside the pantry to get a package of goods. They get chicken, cans of beans, and even fruit. What do you got in there?
We got bread,
Cereal. Bagel, show the bagel, show the breads. A whole chicken. Can't go wrong with this pantry. And then with the little bit I get with the food stamps, look, we got peppers for my Italian sausage when I get home.
The city is now trying to address the problem that keeps so many New Yorkers in need from getting food stamps. On April 6th, City Council Speaker Christine Quinn presented a series of proposals, including a new office to coordinate anti-hunger efforts. But Mayor Bloomberg recently blocked measures that would ease rules to get food stamps.
Well, hopefully in 15 or 20 years, we would like to see no hunger in New York. Their goal, Christine Quinn's goal in her speech was to have hunger in New York in the next 5 years. And we think that's completely reachable.
Meanwhile, many New Yorkers are still struggling to put food on their table. So are you still hopeful you're gonna get food stamps?
Not really.
I might sacrifice the light bill if it's low, because sometimes they don't turn off your lights unless it's over $100. So if it's like $45, I'll pay it the next month.
I think that's really what's keeping me going. God, He makes you learn too that you can't always have what you want. I just live day by day, and I feel that's the best way to live.